One of the areas that was always difficult when in the end of service persona, where the company, it may go bankrupt or insolvent. Therefore, the risk of that particular end of service gratuity becomes much higher to the employees that will suffer their savings within the company, because the company now has no money. Now, is that scheme is really abolished by introducing this element?
Absolutely, because the requirement as of February 2020 is that employers each month have to make a minimum contribution for each of its eligible employees. And the reason why I say eligible employees, unless you are a GCC national or a UAE national, they are not able to join a fund because they have their own particular social service pension scheme. So remember, this is a savings and pension scheme for those expatriates that do not have a pension scheme, unlike the GCC and UAE nationals. So they're not really eligible to be part of this as a member. So with respect to a company, losing, becoming bankrupt, up to that point, the law required them to do monthly minimum contributions for each employee. If they don't make the minimum contribution by a certain day of the month, they're notified, and I believe they can be fined for not doing that. So if the company is on the way down, they're going to have to keep making these payments or be fined. And then, so to answer your question, for the employee, you're in a safer place because of every month the money goes over to the account and it starts to be, it's invested. And you don't have to hope that, hope the company doesn't, lose its funding or whatever, and then you would lose any access to that lump sum, because that lump sum over the course of a period of time has been going in every month. So that's the beauty of it. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that the money contributed by the employer every month and any of the contributions by the individual person, once they go in there, they have the potential for return, versus the lump sum, you get it at the end, you just get the amount. Here you have the potential, depending on how you've invested it, to get a little bit more or a whole lot more. So you make the choices there. And just to finish the whole thing, so we've talked about how the employer has an obligation to make monthly contributions. An individual can add voluntary contributions. So what happens when you end your service? What happens? So I've worked there, say, 7 years. What do I do now? Well, I have choices. I have two choices. I have one, I can cash out, go online, put the date you're going to end your service, and say, I want to cash out. You give them the bank details, they send it to your bank. Or if you decide, I may work for another company, you can keep it within that account and let it continue to grow. So the next question is, what if I go to the DIFC employer that's not the same one? What happens to that money? Do I have a new account? Can I combine accounts? Because the law requires each DIFC employer to enroll their employees. Right now, you cannot combine accounts. So say I left after my 7 years and I decided I wanted to keep the money there because I wanted it to keep growing, because I've figured out in my mind the fund that I've selected has been really good for me. So I keep it there. I go to this next company. So what happens? The company opens an account, a new account, different number. Again, I have access like I had for this one over here, but I cannot combine them. They don't have the ability. And you can't, like, say if you go outside of the UAE, can you combine them? No. It's one employee, one employer, one account.